Communication, Toastmasters, communication and leadership and more. I have a feeling we're going to hear about them more. A past Speakers Bureau chair, qualified speaker, GTM, multiple times, and contest past district winner, Connie Jameson.
Toastmasters, communication and leadership, and then some. Some opportunities for extra individual recognition, some opportunities to learn to know one another outside the regular club meeting, your background, your talents, and some opportunities for fun. How does Toastmasters deliver that? Through social activities. Serving as social chair for several years, I found that we could arrange activities that would draw people together, that would allow them to bond with one another. I'm going to share with you two big events and then some others that we did, and encourage you to think of that, what you might be doing at your club level area or maybe the whole district. The first one was Toastmasters Got Talent. And how I first had that little idea, that seed of a project of something that might transpire. I was sitting at the wedding of Lois Sicking and Ralph Dieter. Somebody came down the aisle, a singer, a fellow Toastmaster. I thought, oh my goodness, that is a beautiful voice. Wow, what other talents do our Toastmasters have? We see their public speaking skills, their presentation, their deliveries, but what else do they do? And so I had that little seed planted in my head about Toastmasters Got Talent. And it came to fruition, and we found that Toastmasters do have talent. Rob in the back there was sharing his excitement about this because he was part of that Toastmasters Got Talent. I think you'll enjoy what he did. We held that event in the Kaiser Permanente Hospital auditorium down in the basement area. It was such a grand venue. It was a huge room. We had a stage. And what was special, the people there would arrange the room just as we want it to be arranged, so we could have seats for people viewing the performers and tables set all around to display, because we had not only performance talents, and sharing what people make, what they do with their hands. And I'm going to share some of that with you this evening. How did we get that wonderful venue? Well, Toastmasters had a club at the Kaiser Permanente Hospital in Riverside, the Kaiser Communicators. And one lady in that club, I don't know if she was president or some other role, Diane Lorenz, she made all these arrangements for us. It was fantastic. Now, the only restriction they had is we could not charge any money. That was one of their restrictions. So, it would be nice to have some refreshments because this event went on for quite a while. So, besides people coming and performing for us, displaying their various wares, whatever their talents were, we had a cookie and brownie contest. So, and we had judges and we awarded certificates and all. There was our food to share. Here are some of the performers that were on the stage. There was Rob and Deanne Gunneman doing a German dance. There was Rob and Deanne Gunneman with the spoons, playing the spoons. I forget what that's called. And then there was one more. I didn't really know this couple, but they asked me if I could check on the height of the ceilings. What? My goodness, I know they were a dancing couple. He must toss her way in the air. But that was not the reason. Deanne was working on another skill, another talent, and that was the bullwhip. So they demonstrated how Rob could hold up a sheet of paper and she would slice it in half with that bullwhip. And what? They're still together. Yes, indeed. We had, Richard Snyder. He's here. Richard Snyder and the Von Snyder family performing. We had people playing instruments, singing. Oh, one fun was we had a yo-yo champion. Tom and I had recently helped with a youth leadership group, and one of the young men, the high school students, did all these yo-yo tricks. And we said, hey, come on over and show us. And he did indeed. Other acts, well, one I liked very much was we had one club, the Power Persuaders. They were the Power Persuaders Jubilee, and they got together and practiced and delivered the song, "We Are Americans in the USA." We had people singing, reciting poetry. We had a magic show. And then we had a lady who, in the display section, she was a milliner. I think that's what it's called. She decorated these hats, really, really fancy hats. And if you looked over, you thought, wow, that's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. She had that set up. We also saw Jack Cantola, who made lovely memory boxes with his woodworking. We had photography. There were sewing, displays of people that knew about sewing. And on we had all these people displaying their talents. Yes, Toastmasters got talent. Now the next, wait a minute. This is when I display my bright idea. Remember, we had this wonderful venue to showcase all these talents. It was because there was a Toastmaster club that met there. So think about it. Is there a club that you know about that might be a way to get into a place that you could meet either for your meetings or for some special event? Or hey, maybe you want to start a club at a Kaiser hospital, because that just worked out wonderfully for us. I think they no longer exist as a club, but think about where you might have a source of locations, because locations for club meetings and special events are very often hard to find. That was my first one. Toastmasters got talent. The next, ta-da, Fun Fest. Saturday night Fun Fest at the end of one of the district conferences that we held at Pachanga, I believe it was. After the daytime events, all the business and everything, people stayed behind for many fun activities, many people who contributed their acts to entertain us. We had a strolling magician. We had Terry Gordon. Some of you may remember her. She was a fortune teller. You could come in and have your fortune told. We had Paula Adams, who was a tall, stately, blonde lady, quite attractive. And she was Miss Tipperello. So she was a cigarette lady. So she had her little case here and she would walk around. They were candy cigarettes and bubblegum cigars, but that was fun. And then some of the acts that we had, I'm going right down the list here. Well, first of all, a bagpiper led in the top 3 officers. That would make them feel quite special. Sheila Houston was a singer, and she's the cousin of Whitney Houston. Ralph Rivers, great recitation. Rob Watkins was a ventriloquist. We had a guitar, singer guitarist. Oh, wait a minute. I recognize these names again. Deanne and Rob Gunneman, only instead of German folk dancing, they did belly dancing. Is that correct? Bob Palmer did music and comedy. David Cruz, juggler and comedy. William Hung, he was a singer on American Idol. He was a contestant way, way back. He did Shebang, Shebang. And he was a Toastmaster in the Los Angeles area. He came out, but we were hoping he would do that song, but he did a different song. Daryl and Marianne Zeller, Becky Palmer, and Ruth Kepp, people who had been in Toastmasters, these four for ever, it seemed, risen way up to leadership, high leadership. And so you'd think you'd have something very, I don't know, really impressive as far as, well, it was impressive, but not in the way you might think. They were the fountains, and they were dressed in like togas, and they were the fountains. So they somehow put water in their mouth and spit it up into the air. Anyway, they entertained us a little differently than we thought they would. We stopped or had a time in the middle between all these acts to have some dancing. We had a DJ there and people were out on the dance floor. But before we had the dancing, Roz Carter, who was district governor at that time, she taught us how, she came from Louisiana, and she taught us about Zydeco, I think it is, the dancing, the umbrella dance. And pretty soon we had a group of people following each other all around there, swinging their napkins as we danced around. Well, after our break, we came back for the Hula Hunks and Honeys. So we had Bruce Campbell. He was my co-chair for a long time, and he was up for anything you'd ask him to do. So he put on a grass skirt, and Paula put on a grass skirt. And as we would describe a scene, they would have to, the moon was shining and whatever. So that was quite fun. The Hula Hunk and Honey. Ron Shockey was a humorist. Another David Keys, and a lot of these people, I don't know if they're around in Toastmasters, are a Spanish guitarist. Deepak, how do you say his last name? Deepak? Yeah. Anyway, he was a stand-up comedian. Tom McCurley, Sandy Barnes, Tom Jameson, Ralph Rivers, the jokester. And then people could continue on with dancing until the wee hours. I talked about what, yeah, Hung, yes. So that was Fun Fest. Now, other events that we have done have been going to the minor league baseball game, the 66ers, riding the train down and going to Angels games, to the rain hockey, having a place up in the mountains, like a mountain retreat where people could come. And the beach train, we did that several times, riding the train down to the beach and hanging out there. 5 times? $5. Oh, only $5? Okay. Let's see if I have any other events. Oh, we had a table games day, and getting together to celebrate Christmas at the Carnes house. We had Chris and Mary Carnes would decorate their house. It was award-winning. People would line up around the block to see this. And so they had a special day that the Toastmasters would go down and meet there and enjoy their house and hang out together. And even a cruise up the California coast. Now, I ask you, is there something you might be thinking about that you'd say, wow, wouldn't it be fun to get together? We could have a potluck and some silly table topics, or just have a potluck and chat, get to know one another a little better. Maybe we could take a walk in the park and then have a picnic. Or perhaps we could go to a sports event and cheer on somebody in the club or somebody's child or grandchild. all of these types of get-togethers that are outside the regular club meeting help to bond, help to bring us together, to enjoy one another. Ralph Smedley said, we learn best in moments of enjoyment. I recall somebody at that Fun Fest saying, wow, Toastmasters have a lot of fun. And more recently, I heard someone bemoan the fact that Toastmasters, it doesn't seem to be as much fun anymore. Well, let's see if we can't get some ideas to bring us together in special social events and make that happen again, giving extra recognition to our members, getting to know one another a little more than just at the club meetings, and to have lots of fun together with our Toastmaster family.